Alright folks, we've just entered a new year and that means that it is time to look at upcoming JRPGs for the first half of 2023. For this video I'm mainly going to look at games with confirmed release dates between January and June, and I will most definitely do a follow-up video around summer for the second half of 2023. But before I continue further, let me know in the comment section what JRPGs you're excited to play in 2023. Alright, first up we have Fire Emblem Engage. That's right, the next mainline Fire Emblem game is just around the corner, January 20th to be exact. Fire Emblem Engage was first announced during a Nintendo Direct presentation a couple of months ago, and back then when I saw the trailer for the first time I honestly thought it was some sort of a spin-off title of Fire Emblem, but I was wrong and it turned out to be the next mainline Fire Emblem game. In Fire Emblem Engage, you play as a divine dragon who has been awakened from a 1000-year-old sleep in order to save the world once again from the Fell Dragon. You're tasked to collect 12 rings that contains heroes from previous Fire Emblem games and use their powers to bring back peace to the continent of Ilios. To be honest, the concept does sound like something that you would see from a spin-off title, especially with the gimmick of summoning heroes from previous Fire Emblem games. But then again, I've only seen a trailer or two for this game, so I don't want to fully judge the game without playing it myself. Regardless, it is still a Fire Emblem game, and from what we've seen so far from the gameplay, it looks, pun intended, engaging, just like your typical Fire Emblem game. For some reason, I always find the gameplay of any Fire Emblem game to be very addictive. Not only that, but it's been a while since I played Fire Emblem Three Houses, and lately I've been in the mood for some strategy RPGs. Fire Emblem Engage is set for release on Nintendo Switch on January 20th. Next up we have Octopath Traveler 2. Now here we have a sequel to the fantastic Octopath Traveler that came out in 2018. I personally was quite late to the party and it wasn't until last year that I finally got around to playing Octopath Traveler, and I remember instantly falling in love with the combat system and its unique but yet traditional aesthetics. And from what we've seen so far with Octopath Traveler 2, it seems like it's going to play a lot like the first game, where the player gets to follow 8 separate characters, each having their own story and character arc. Even though it is considered a sequel, it will feature a new cast of characters and a setting separate from the prior game. What's new to the sequel is the introduction of day and night cycles, and depending on the time of day, you can perform different types of actions outside combat. If you are into old school 16-bit RPGs, then look no further. I really think they've done an amazing job with the aesthetics, and it is awesome to see Square releasing games that are very reminiscent of the old JRPGs in the past. Octopath Traveler 2 is set for release on February 24th on the Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5 and PC. Next up we have Digimon World Next Order. That's right, I'm still riding the Digimon hype train, and this time we have the 6th game in the Digimon World series. It was first released in 2016 for the PlayStation Vita and was later released for the PS4 in 2017. As someone who grew up loving the Digimon World series, I unfortunately missed out on Next Order. Luckily though, we have a port coming for the Nintendo Switch and PC on the 22nd of February. In Digimon World Next Order, you play as some sort of a Digimon tamer who is accompanied by 2 partner Digimons of your choice. Your role is to raise and evolve your Digimon partner throughout the course of the game, whether it is through battles or other training methods. You need to feed and take care of your Digimon's needs, otherwise they will become unhappy, and if certain requirements are not met, then they will die and be reborn once again into an egg, but with a slight stat boost. So as you're raising your Digimon partner, you will travel through various environments, completing objectives and advancing the story. The last time I played the Digimon World game was a fan translation of Digimon World redigitized, and I remember being so addicted to it. There's just something special about how Digimon games handles the monster taming aspect. It is so dynamic, and what is awesome is that you are encouraged to explore different evolutions in order to get stronger. So if you're into the monster taming genre, then look no further. Next on this list we have Legend of Heroes Trails to Azure. Now Trails to Azure is the second game and the finale of the Crossbell arc, which is part of the overarching story of the Trails series. It was first released for the PSP back in 2013, exclusively in Japan, and after 10 years we finally got an official release here in the West. Even though the wait has been very long, I remember playing the first game, Trails to Zero, via fan translation, but I never got around to playing the fan translation of Trails to Azure. But luckily though, I will have a chance to finally play and finish the Crossbell arc once and for all this spring. Trails to Azure is set a few months after the event of the first game, and we once again get to follow Lloyd and his special support section. They will solve cases like usual, although this time they have to deal with threats to Crossbell's political stability. Now the Trails franchise is a massive series with multiple games split into different story arcs within the same world, and it can sometimes feel very daunting, but trust me when I say that I've never seen any JRPG series put as much care and detail when it comes to story, character and world building like the Trails series, hence why I'm very excited to finally play this game. Legend of Heroes Trails to Azure is coming March 14th for the PS4, Switch and PC. Alright, last but not least we have Final Fantasy 16. Now whenever I talk about upcoming JRPGs I always mention Final Fantasy 16. Not only is it one of the biggest JRPGs coming this year, but it is also, in my opinion, one of the big games of 2023. Final Fantasy 16 is an action JRPG with a medieval fantasy setting. It takes place in a world called Valistia, a world in which magical mother crystals are scattered across the continent, providing the population with ether energy. Although this energy is a limited resource, and that is causing friction and conflict between the dominions in Valistia. In Final Fantasy 16 you play as Clive, the firstborn son of a ruling family who can acquire and wield powers of multiple icons, and these icons are pretty much Final Fantasy summons that we know and love. He's driven by revenge after the attack on his younger brother, and that in itself will pull Clive into the growing conflict in Valistia. I've said this before in previous videos, but I love the dark medieval fantasy tone, and for some reason I'm getting the Game of Thrones / Attack on Titan vibes, which I don't mind at all. The gameplay looks sick, it is very flashy and action-packed, and if I'm not mistaken, the combat designer of Final Fantasy XVI has previously worked on games like Dragon's Dogma and Devil May Cry 5, which is really cool. Although I've seen some people that would have preferred a more classic turn-based combat system, but I feel like that won't happen anytime soon, at least when it comes to mainline Final Fantasy. I might be off here, but it seems like Square wants to compete with other big AAA action games, hence why I believe they've been leaning more towards action-based gameplay in the past couple of years. I personally don't care whether it is turn-based or action-based because I love them both. As long as it's fun and engaging, then I will be happy. And what we've seen so far looks very fun. Final Fantasy 16 is scheduled for release on June 22nd on PS5. And there we go, 5 upcoming JRPGs of the first half of 2023. If you want to share other upcoming JRPGs, then let me know in the comment section. Thank you for watching this video, and consider subscribing if you're interested in JRPG related stuff. More videos are coming, so take care, and I'll hopefully see you guys next time.